What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here. With the re-release of Schindler's List coming this week in theaters, I decided to do a top 10 list of my 10 favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Now, Spielberg is by far one of my favorite stuff over the decade. So, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Spielberg movies. Coming in at number 10 will be War of the Worlds. Now, I recently put up my top 10 Tom Cruise movies, and War of the Worlds was on that list. I know this movie didn't really get well received. Like most people probably say it's Spielberg's worst film, but I gotta say I still thought it was pretty decent. I mean, a nice home invasion movie with Tom Cruise. You even had Dakota Fanning here. Now I could have gone with maybe Minority Report, but I kind of liked War of the Worlds a little more. You even had, Morgan Freeman was the narrator in this film. This is, of course, based on the classic book, and the aliens in this film look pretty realistic. It was actually pretty fun at times. Cruise was good. Fanning was pretty decent. Definitely give War of the Worlds a go if you haven't seen it. I think you'll probably end up enjoying it. Coming in at number 9 will be Lincoln. Now, this is the movie about Abraham Lincoln, and it starred Daniel Day-Lewis as the role of Abe Lincoln. This was such a really good film. I mean, it was also the film that won Daniel Day-Lewis his third Oscar. Well deserved too, because Lewis really embodied the role as Lincoln. And Spielberg really did a good job with Lincoln. He really worked with Daniel Day-Lewis perfectly. He even had Sally Field in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was even in this film. Who else was in this? I think David L. was also in this shit, if I'm not mistaken. It's a really good film. If you guys still haven't seen Lincoln, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 8 will pretty much be a more recent one, and that would be Ready Player One, which is based on the book by Ernest Cline, and of course, takes place in the Oasis. It was a really good film. I mean, I saw this movie back in March, and I had loads of fun with it. The visuals were stunning. I mean, it literally looked realistic. And it was pretty cool seeing some classic characters in this, like Iron Giant, Chucky. Loads of other characters was featured in Ready Player One. It was a really good film worth checking out, and this was definitely up Spielberg's alley. This literally, you could literally tell Spielberg, hands was all over this film when you saw it. It was such a good film, and I gotta say, I kind of hope we see a sequel to that in the future. But the movie did well, so maybe, hopefully. And I heard that Cline is writing another like a sequel to the book, so maybe we'll get a sequel in the near future. Who knows? All right, coming in at number 7 will be Schindler's List. Now, this film, of course, starred the likes of Ralph Fiennes, Liam Neeson, Sir Ben Kingsley. It's a really hard film to watch. And also, there's like a re-release of Schindler's List that's essentially come out this week. So I'll probably be seeing Schindler's List on the big screen, which I admit it's going to be a little hard to watch. I mean, this is seriously a film you cannot watch over and over. It's not really a rewatchable film. It's a good film, just not a rewatchable film. And it has some, I believe it won a Oscar for, Schindler's List was a Oscar winner when it got released. I believe it won Best Picture, if I'm not mistaken. Well deserved, because it's a pretty good movie. Spielberg did a good job at directing. Liam Neeson was amazing. Ralph Fiennes was good. Sir Ben Kingsley was amazing. Pretty good film. I mean, if you guys still haven't seen it, definitely give it a go, but cautious. You'll probably only be able to just watch this just once. All right. Coming in at number 6 will be Saving Private Ryan. the film that should have won the Oscar but lost over Shakespeare in Love, which was a decent film too, but Saving Private Ryan was a better film. But anyway, Saving Private Ryan, it's a war classic. Like Schindler's List, this movie is pretty intense to watch. It's literally not a film you can watch over and over. But it's still a pretty decent film. I mean, you got good performances by Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Vin Diesel way before Fast and Furious kicked in. You even had Ed Burns. A few good casting in Saving Private Ryan. If you guys still haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. All right, coming in at number 5 is another alien invasion movie, and that would be Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which of course starred Richard Dreyfuss. And like War of the Worlds, this movie was also an alien invasion film, and it's a sci-fi classic. I mean, this movie came out like in the set, like I think 1977. I think it came out, and I think it's a sci-fi movie that still holds up today. It's iconic. If you guys still haven't had a chance to check out Close Encounter of the Third Kind yet, definitely give it a go. And I actually saw the movie back in theaters last year when they re-released it. It was a pretty cool experience seeing this on the big screen. Coming in at number 4 will be Jurassic Park. Now, this movie pretty much changed Hollywood from how they make films. I mean, the effects in this looked realistic. I mean, those T-Rex and those other dinosaurs literally looked like dinosaurs did not go extinct and just end up appearing in a film. That's how realistic those dinosaurs looked. I mean, they looked incredible. And also, you had Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant. Jeff Goldblum stole some scenes. You had Laura Dern, Sam Jackson. Now he also did Spielberg also did Lost World, which I admit the first Jurassic Park's much better because it's a '90s classic. I mean, people today still knows what Jurassic Park is. You know, we're still getting constantly. We got a Jurassic World, which is pretty much of a hit. So cannot wait for part 3 of Jurassic World, by the way. But Spielberg, what he did with Jurassic Park was just really cool to watch. All right, coming in at number 3 will be Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the first installment of the Indiana Jones films. Now, this one starred, Harrison Ford as the archaeologist, Indiana Jones. It's an action classic. I mean, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones is an iconic character. Maybe not as iconic as Han Solo, but still pretty iconic. And I mean, it's a really good film. Good performances by Harrison Ford. Spielberg did a pretty good job at directing. I mean, this movie came out in like early 1980s, and it's still an Indiana Jones movie that gets talked about today. Of course, we had the other Indiana Jones movies, which was good, but Raiders of the Lost Ark was better. All right, coming in at number 2 will be Jaws. Now, speaking of films that changed the way Hollywood makes films, back in the '70s, featured a monster from the deep, and that will be Jaws. That's right, the giant shark movie. I mean, this movie got released in when did Jaws get released in? Yeah, it got released in 1975, and it's definitely a horror thriller that still holds up. Had a pretty good score in this. I mean, that's it. When you hear that music, you know exactly where that's from. Is Jaws, and the look of the shark was pretty cool. You even had Roy Schneider, some pretty good human characters in this. I mean, you had like Roy Schneider, Richard Dreyfuss again with Dreyfuss. Yeah, I mean, Jaws. It's a horror thriller classic. If you guys still have whatever reason still haven't seen Jaws, and let's be for real, who haven't seen Jaws by now? Definitely check out Jaws because it's a horror thriller classic, and the shark looks really cool. All right, coming in at number one for my favorite Spielberg movies. Coming in at number one will be E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Now, Spielberg, of course, did War of the Worlds and Close Encounter, which are both alien invasion films. But features an alien who really pretty much came on Earth. And it's the candy-loving E.T. I mean, all he just wants to do is go home, and that's all. But, he pretty much comes on Earth. He be friends with Elliot, played by the great Henry Thomas. Even had a young Drew Barrymore here. I mean, E.T., it's a sci-fi classic. I mean, to this day, you still know what E.T. is. I mean, the movie got released in 1980. When did it get released? Oh, yeah, 1982. And it's still a film that holds up today. I mean, if it wasn't for stuff like E.T., we probably wouldn't have stuff like Stranger Things or anything like that. E.T. pretty much paved the way for these coming-of-age adventure film, like kids adventure films. And E.T., it's just a sci-fi classic. I mean, it still holds up today. It got released in 1982, and it's a film that still holds up. And I gotta say, too bad we never got to see another E.T. I mean, it would be cool seeing E.T. back on screen again. But hey, the original is still an all-time classic. I mean, E.T. loves Reese's Pieces. What more can you ask for? But yeah, that's pretty much it for my 10 favorite Spielberg movies. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, War of the Worlds. 9, Lincoln. 8, Ready Player One. 7, Schindler's List. 6, Saving Private Ryan. 5, Closer Encounter of the Third Kind. 4, Jurassic Park. 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark. 2, Jaws. 1, E.T. Now, there's loads of other ones I could have added, because he has an interesting resume. I mean, his first film, Duel, is not really all that great, but that was kind of his first film. The recent The Post with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, which was okay, but not his best work. AI with Haley Joel Osment was pretty good. Munich with Eric Bana was pretty decent. Amistad, lots of people consider that should be his best work, but it's not really his best work in my opinion. He did The Color Purple. Oh, definitely not The Terminal. He's done a lot of stuff over the years. But let me leave it to you guys. What are your favorite Steven Spielberg movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.